This episode of It's Super Effective is brought to you by Dreamworld Dig, the indie and handheld game of the year for 3DS and Steam. Dreamworld Dig is a platform mining adventure. Take the role of Rusty, a lonely mining steambot, as he arrives into an old mining town in great need. Dig your way through the old earth, gaining riches while uncovering the ancient threat that lurks below. Get Dreamworld Dig today on Steam or in the Nintendo eShop on your 3DS. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 132nd episode of the Pokemon Podcast. My name is SBJ, and I have my dream team with me today of Will.
I'm going to start snoring. I'm so sleepy. This is going to be like the sleepy time episode.
This is what happened when we moved to morning shows.
Yeah. Although it's afternoon here.
So you have no excuse.
So it's nap time. It's nap time. I've been up for 6 hours already. Now it's time to take a nap.
And our other beautiful snoozer with us today is Travis.
Beautiful Snoozer is the name of my sleeper car
I was going to say, who did Beautiful Dreamer? That's not Beethoven. That's
Bob Dylan.
It is not Bob Dylan.
It's the name of my Bob Dylan Beethoven crossover band.
No, it's your David Bowie Roxy Music crossover band.
That's good.
Hey, I have no transition from that. If you guys are a new listener of It's Super Effective, Travis, Will, and myself are the three recent regulars that have been doing the show, and how the show breaks down is usually we start off with some Pokemon news. We do talk about Pokemon here on occasion. So we'll do some Pokemon news. We'll take a break for our mid-segment. This week we are talking about what we didn't like in X and Y. Then we'll take another break and we'll do our Pokemon of the week, and then we will do our goodbyes. But before we dive into things, we didn't get that.
Do our goodbyes, like we're never coming back. Like at the end of the show, it's just going to be like us bawling. Like the show has really meant so much to me. It really changed my life. And
Travis, I miss you already. Because I'm never going to see you again.
I want to thank my mom and dear Arceus for this opportunity. I was just going to bring up before we dive too deep into things that there wasn't any hate on our healthy living talk last week. So I think
that's our first item of news.
So I think we have some potential here for market share in the healthy living podcast market.
Do you know why I'm so snoozy and sleepy right now? Because I gave up Red Bull in support of you, Steve.
Oh, that's
and I'm like such a caffeine deficiency.
I've been trying the Sobe Life Water. It's no bueno.
We're really doing this.
What do you mean? No, okay. If you don't like Sobe Life Water, do the other one, Vitamin Water.
Yeah, Vitamin Water is way better.
Yeah. No, I mean I like Sobe Life Water better, but I mean for you, since you have a sweet tooth, I don't like sugary.
The Sobe Life Water base stats are.
It's a better sweeper than it is a wall.
I would say Sobe Life Water is more of a special attacker, while Vitamin Water is a physical attacker.
Ooh.
The moveset of Sobe Life Water is really what holds it back. Like, you're right, its special attack is good, but I mean, like, it only learns Psyshock. That's literally the only... So, like, what's the point?
No, it learns a lot of priority.
It's like the Flareon of the flavored water.
Flareon of flavored water.
It's more. I would say it's more like the Sableye. Learns a lot of priority moves and things that will mess up your opponent's junk, but it's not doing real damage.
How do you feel about the Propel, though? I hear it has Prankster nowadays.
No, don't ever go with
Propel's
Propel.
Dreamworld ability.
Oh man.
Well, ever since Knockoff got the buff.
Okay, we don't use the word buff in Pokemon talk.
Buff? What does
No,
buff mean?
there are no buffs
What's
in
that
Pokemon.
lingo?
No, that means so Knockoff last generation had really low base power, and it was either up to and in Generation 6 it was either changed to 60 or 80. I can't remember. So it's like actually pretty viable now.
But the term buff comes from other video games where it's like if you perform a certain action during a game, then one of your stats will get a boost.
Right.
So that's called you get a buff. That
Right.
stat gets a buff. That does not apply.
But the terminology also applies to like if they if we were talking about like some MMO or something, and they make an update and they increase they make some ability better, you would say they buffed that ability.
No, you would say that. I would say that you're wrong for saying that.
I would say that
Knockoff's
Knockoff's base power was increased to 65 from 20.
I think that's a much more academic and accurate way to say it.
It's a pretty huge increase. Isn't that a dark type move?
It is. Yeah. Because of the... I can't say buff. Because of the advantage, because of the boost given to that.
Boost is good.
And because of the boost mobile given to that and defog, Mandibuzz is pretty cool now. It's always been cool, but now you can actually use it.
I always liked Mandibuzz. I wish Mandibuzz had a male counterpart. Like a male vulture. Kind of like Meowstic.
Are you talking about Braviary?
No.
Well, it's a Braviary is not a vulture.
Yeah, it's it's a lame eagle.
But it's definitely it's the Braviary's all male.
Yeah, but I like vultures.
Like it is the counterpart. Yeah, sure.
Really, I'm just asking for a better vulture design. Speaking of designs and speaking of memes, because I know Will is on top of the memes.
Or quite the opposite, because I don't even think I've talked to Travis on Skype all week. And he asked me last night if there were any good memes, after I had gone to bed already, I must mention.
We have this arrangement where Will asks me if there are any good memes, and then I don't tell him because I don't care about memes.
So I've obviously asked the wrong person to do this research for me.
Yeah,
do you know there are at least 5 people in this world who would be so thrilled to report? Give me a daily meme report.
Name one.
I don't know who does a lot of Tumblr. Saul. Saul would love to give me a daily meme report.
Yeah, Saul would. You got me.
But what I was gonna say is there's this new one of Seismitoad and Toxifroke and Frogadier and Poliwrath all hanging out. And then Politoad is like, hey guys, can I join you? And they're all blue and they're like, when is green an appropriate frog color?
Did you say Toxifroke?
Toxifroke?
Yeah, I was going to let it go.
It's a little bit of Froakie.
I think that's appropriate.
A little bit of Toxic. Hey, it's 11 a.m. here. I normally don't get up till like 1. I got nothing else though. I guess we can finally move into news.
Is there any news?
Nothing's gonna beat our power raid.
You know where I get my news from, Steve?
Pokemon
the Holocaster. No, of course not. The Holocaster. Did you get you don't even play Pokemon, do you?
What? I played yesterday.
Okay, did you get the update where they updated on the Holocaster and they were like, Winter Regionals are here, find out where the latest events are?
I did that. Huh.
Yeah. And I was like, I was totally amazed that they actually pushed out an actual Pokemon news item through the Holocaster.
They did it when the whole Torchic nonsense was going on, too.
Well, that wasn't really news because it was kind of around before the game started.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't even know when Torchic started.
Are we talking about Torchic in the news?
Yeah, actually, that's the article I had brought up. Today, while we're recording this, it is January 12th, so it should be up later tonight or before sometime on January 13th. But if you are listening to that and you haven't gotten your Torchic yet, you are able to get that until January 15th. So just about 2 days left.
So we'll make sure this episode comes out on the 16th.
Yeah.
Perfect. The Torchic will come with its hidden ability for speed boosts, and it is also holding a Mega Stone for Blaziken Knight. Is it called Blaziken Knight? I think.
Blaziken Knight, yeah.
Is this the only way to get Blaziken Knight? Can you get it in game?
No.
So there you go.
Not as of yet. I'm guessing in like maybe the third version or something you can.
And there's no leaving your house to get this. You just have to connect to the Nintendo network. Is that still called Mystery Gift?
Yeah. So I just started up a cartridge of Pokemon X, and you have to do it through Mystery Gift. I thought you might be able to do it through the Holocaster update, because you can receive stuff that way too, but no, you have to do it through Mystery Gift. But you can do it, like, you don't even have to leave your mother's house. That's true.
You don't even have to leave your basement. Speaking of what is leaving us, the closure of the Unova version Pokemon Global Link, the PGL as some people call it, will be closing on January 14th, 2014. When this happens, you will no longer be able to wake up your Pokemon by selecting Wake Up in the Pokemon Global Link. This means any Pokemon or items you've collected in the PGL can no longer be transferred to your Pokemon Black version, White version, Black, or White 2 versions, including accessories for your Sea Gear skins and Pokedex skins. You will still be able to wake up Pokemon from inside your game using GameSync.
I thought they were saying you couldn't wake it up at all, and I was going to be like, well, there goes that Snorlax that's been in there for about a year and a half.
You're aging them like some fine wine in there.
I was going to say that this didn't seem really important to me until I thought about it for a little while and realized the Sea Gear skin I have in Black and White 2 is the Mana one, and I hate it. And I was just always too lazy to change it. But if you don't change it before they close the Global Link, your Sea Gear is going to be stuck at whatever stupid Sea Gear you have set there for all eternity, unchangeable ever again.
As minor as that is, that's kind of a big deal to me.
Which Sea Gear skin do you have in Black and White 2?
The Toxicroak one.
I'm pretty sure I have the Muna one.
No, I am actually literally today I'm going to set aside some time to hop in there just to switch it back to the default Sea Gear skin because I don't want to look at Mana anymore.
in my Black and White one, I have the world's Pikachu one with Pikachu on the skateboard.
Skateboard, yeah.
I don't know if that was available to everyone or just people who went to Worlds.
It was available to everyone because I had it for a little bit, but I have Zoroark on there now, and that's fine because I love Zoroark. Travis is so far above us that he never even bothered to ever change his Sea Gear skin.
No, my Sea Gear, I don't remember, I think it ended up being the Croagunk one.
Oh, okay. I don't know what Pokemileage are. Maybe I'm a noob. Noob City.
Pokemiles.
But that is... That's getting some new features on January 14th when the... Okay, so this is a little confusing. So the Global Link is closing for Black and White and Black and White 2. Mm-hmm. But
the Unova Global Link is closing.
Got it. It's staying open for Kalos. And there's going to be new activities and new discounts on in-game apparel starting on January 14th. And Pokemiles are... You get that when you trade Pokemon, or that's what you walk in the game.
Yeah, so it's a little confusing. So you want to break it down that they're on the Kalos Global Link. There have not been games that you can play through your browser like there were when you went to the Dreamworld in the Unova Global Link. So basically, what they're doing is they're going to start up doing games in the Kalos Global Link. With the first one being a balloon popping game. And yeah, you do get Pokemiles for walking around in the game, but you also get Pokemiles when you street pass people. So if you, after you do some Pokemon Street Passes and you check your Holocaster and download them to your game, you can get a lot of Street Passes, Pokemiles, for each person that you pass. And it's not. At first I thought it was just one Pokemile per person you pass, but it actually increases over time. So yesterday I had 89 Pokemon Street Passes, and I got something like 865 Pokemiles for it. And then you have been able to, up to now, use Pokemiles to buy garbage through the Global Link website.
Just before we get to that, you are able to also get Pokemiles for at least doing trades online, and I think battles as well, and that gets you a lot. Like, if you just wonder trade for a while, you'll have a staggering amount of Pokemiles.
Is there a limit on Pokemiles? Does it max out, or?
I don't think there's been a posted limit.
No, I don't think so.
I'm just curious for people who don't ever look at their Pokemon miles.
I'm sitting at 5,661.
Dang, I thought that was good with a 2,000 something, but wow.
You gotta do those wonder trades.
Oh no, I don't have to do them.
I bet a lot of people have a ton more. People that like breed and then put all their nonsense on the...
Oh, we can name one person. Justin in the Philippines. Because all he does all day is breed Pokemon and trade them out into the world. He's like, I'm building good karma by sending out these wonderful Pokemon into the universe. But on the 14th, they're gonna have a game that you can play, and I think your ability to progress in the game is based on the number of Pokémiles you've accrued. And then they're also going to update the store on the global link, so there's better things to purchase through the store. And I think what's hinted at through the news article is that evolution stones will be available for purchase through the store by using Pokémiles. And then the final thing is that discount. So basically you get a 50% off coupon that gets transferred into your game. So then if you want to buy clothes, hats, or bags, you can use it on one purchase. And it's as many items as you want as long as you buy them all as part of one purchase in the game. And then it's 50% off. So you can go to that boutique in Lumio City where everything is like super expensive and get, an ugly looking fedora and whatever else you want to wear. And then get it for 50% off. Or you can get that Vanillite t-shirt for 50% off. If you want to look just like Tierno.
Who doesn't?
I have it. I bought it.
I bet Travis has
it. He's a stylish guy.
Did you buy it, Travis?
I haven't bought it yet, no, but I'm going to.
There we go.
I just hear disappointment coming from the other end of this. Skype actually gives me a notification, like, it sounds like the people in your call are really disappointed in you.
Do you even Pokemon, Travis?
I played yesterday.
I played yesterday too. Somebody, a friend of mine who lives in New York, that I used to work with, messaged me and he was like, "I want to battle you because you run the Pokemon show." And I was like, "I do run that Pokemon show, and I guess we can battle." I haven't touched my game in like 2-3 weeks. So I originally thought it was going to be just doubles 4 Pokemon, but it was singles 6 Pokemon. So I had 2 garbage Pokemon. I had a Pidgeot that only knew Twister and Fly.
Whoops.
But
why would you even have that in your party?
So I could fly around Kalos.
That's what Talonflame is for.
I don't have a Talonflame.
What?
I didn't think Fletchling was that cool.
Well, there shows your intelligence level right there.
Right down the window.
He's more hipster for not using Talonflame.
Okay, fine.
Right. But my Delphox and my Goodra pulled out the win. I was pretty much down 4, so it was like 2-5, and then those two, with proper switching, was able to whittle down until all he had left was a Sylveon, and Goodra can survive any Moonblast in the world, let me tell you.
Yeah, actually, for all my complaining about having to get battle points to get the Razor Fang and the Razor Claw, just using Goodra, I was able to do Battle Maison and just go through like 20, 40, however many levels, just using him.
Yeah, Goodra is incredible.
Agreed.
And Travis has nothing to say.
Do you know what's not incredible?
What?
Pokemon Bank.
Because it's not here yet.
It's not here yet. But we do have an update on that. I believe it was yesterday or possibly on Friday. I can't remember. Can't recall. But Nintendo tweets. They tweeted that they are aware that we are waiting for Pokemon Bank and they are still making some fixes and they will have more news for us soon.
I wish I had seen that because I would have been responding. How could you not be aware that we're waiting for it? Did you secretly release it and not tell us? Come on.
Well, I heard they actually pulled it from the eShop again because before you could at least see it and it would say coming soon.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't show at all.
They just know how far off it is for me to complete the damn Gale's Pokedex. How much more time it's going to be, even though I have gotten so much better at super training now that I stopped using Talonflame and started using Blastoise.
I'm sure that this question has been asked a lot of times, but how could it take this long if it was already released in other places and is working fine?
I'm not sure, unless I don't know. I thought originally I was like, well, it's already working. Like it's probably just going to take them a week or two because the eShop's been fine. There hasn't been any hiccups at the eShop, but maybe they're just making it better. Maybe they're making that hack check better. I mean, if they're making the hack check better, I will be okay with waiting.
Yep. But I can say from my background in working in business, it's probably something to do with a contract. They're probably trying to contract for Amazon S3 services or something, and they don't like Amazon's terms or privacy conditions, and they're like, well, we can't release anything until we settle that. Because
that's me yet. Business.
Yeah, because that's what I do at my job. People come to me and they're like, I want to buy this. Well, here's the contract, and I then find the most meaningless point and say, no, you can't have it because I don't, agree with this point in the contract. And then they cry, and that makes me happy because that's how I make money, by making people cry. Okay. I'm so happy that nobody from Georgetown listens to this.
Burning bridges on this show. Burning bridges. We have one more bit of news, but it's more of a discussion piece than anything. So what we'll do is we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll tackle that news article and then we'll talk about what we hate in Pokemon X and Y.
Yay!
And we are back from our first break, and we have Andrew joining us.
Hey guys, I just woke up.
Do your Travis impression.
Yeah.
Can I do my Travis impression?
Yeah.
Well, my voice let me do my Travis. So let's see.
He has to prepare.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It wasn't as good as last time, but
that was still pretty good.
Do you want to hear my Travis impression?
Yeah.
My Travis impression is my Belle and Sebastian cover band.
I feel like Andrew's impression of Travis was Travis trying to do me. Travis, do me.
Oh gosh. And we are back. Or, what's up, everybody?
Ooh, that was good.
What's up?
What is a Pokemon?
You want to hear my Steve impression?
Toxifroke.
Toxifroke.
Toxifroke. Oh my god, no. My SPJ impression is no, carrots. No, I don't want them raw. I don't
We're bringing back healthy living.
Is that part of the healthy living conversation even part of the show?
Remember. No.
Healthy living. Speaking of healthy, Pokemon sales in Japan are pretty healthy.
Segue.
Oh, thank you. This article is actually pulled off the Examiner, and I guess it's news, but it's more of a talking piece. So these are sales numbers that we're going to run down of sales in Japan that happened, and kind of puts in perspective the popularity of games in Japan compared to the popularity of games in the United States. But I'll just go through the list of the best-selling games, and I think this was for the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I
Looks
think
like
it is.
it.
So Pokemon X and Y came in first with just shy of 4 million copies sold in Japan only. This is all Japan only numbers. So coming in second was Monster Hunter 4 for 3DS with 3.2 million. That's my jam right there. Hopefully they announce that for the United States. Coming in third is Animal Crossing New Leaf, which is weird that they did this, because Life total sold 4 million, but they said between the last couple months it sold 1.7 million alone.
Well, because it came out in Japan much earlier than it came out in the States.
Did it come out in
Remember.
2012? Is that the
Yeah.
thing?
I think so.
I
It was
think so.
December 2012.
Oh, okay, got it. That makes more sense. Tomodachi Collection, 1.5 million.
For all the Tomodachi collection fans out there.
Well, I'm confused because I actually recognized every game on this list except for that one. So I'm actually thinking
It's a Japan exclusive, actually.
Oh wow!
If I'm not,
That's why we brought Andrew on the segment. He knows.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not the one where you take your Tamagotchi and bring them to school.
No.
Is it? Okay,
I
because
don't
that's
think
something.
it's not Tamagotchi though.
No,
Is
I
it?
thought they just
Tomodachi
called
is
it.
friend
Friend collection.
friend collection.
I collect my
Wow.
Travises.
That's why nobody here has it.
Number 5 was so far these have all been 3DS games, by the way. Number 5 was Dragon Quest VII for 3DS for 1.2 million. Number 6 was Puzzle and Dragons Z 3DS 1 million. Number 7 was
Is that available in English, Andrew?
You all look at me. I don't know. I've never heard of that one.
Oh, it's very similar to an old DS game, which I can't remember for what it was called, but it's like
Tetris Attack.
no, it's very similar to Bejeweled, where you have to line up gems and then they disappear.
Oh, is it like
It's all
Bejeweled but with the dragon people?
And the fighting the knights. And
Yeah, I know what you're
what
talking
game
about.
Was that called Puzzle Quest?
Puzzle Quest. Yep.
All right, so Puzzle and Dragons is basically a cross between Pokemon and that, where you have collectible characters that evolve and everything like that, but you have them do battles by doing the Bejeweled.
That sounds
Stop.
way better than Pokemon Dash and Pokemon Rumble.
I thought you were going to say that sounds way better than Pokemon.
Sounds way better than Pokemon X and Y, I'll tell you that. Number 7 was Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon with just shy of 1 million. Number 8 is Grand Theft Auto 5 for PS3 with 600,000.
I really want to hear that in Japanese for some reason, though.
Hear everything in Japanese?
Yeah.
It's
I mean, if it's just...
Grand Theft Auto.
Or if it's just, they just put Japanese subtitles and keep it in English. I don't know. They probably do it that way.
Oh, yeah, possibly. Yeah, I can't imagine them revoicing that whole game. Number 9 is New Super Mario Brothers U, the Wii U one. This isn't 3D Land. This is the one that came out with Wii, which sold 584,000 with a lifetime date of just shy of 1 million. And then number 10 is Wii Party U with 500,000 in sales. Just for reference, before we dive into this article, Pokemon X and Y came out in Japan on October 12th because it was a worldwide release. It was also bundled with some Nintendo 3DSs in Japan. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in October 10th in Japan, which was a couple weeks after the North American launch. And I believe GTA 5 was the fastest selling game of all time in North America with, was it 2 million? Or something like that.
You're asking me like a...
Anyways, the point of the article was how Grand Theft Auto 5 dominated the charts and broke records in America, but in Japan, it's only sold at just over 500,000, and we have games like Pokemon and Monster Hunter and Animal Crossing. We pretty much have all these 3DS games on the top of best-selling games in Japan. Mm-hmm. And what are your guys' thoughts in that? Do you think Japan just really, really loves Pokemon and really, really loves to hunt monsters and cross animals?
Well, they make them, so
yeah.
I guess making them is part of the selling point, but it's also just really popular over there, more so popular than here. Because if I went to ask somebody at my college what's Monster Hunter, probably 10 out of 25 people I ask probably would say, what's that?
I think Monster Hunter 3 is actually breaking that down, though. I think a lot more people are doing uptake on that.
You know what I think is really like bringing into the mainstream? I think the Hunt guidebook.
No, don't bother advertising it. You can't get a copy anymore. Don't waste your time. Unless there's a secondary market for it.
I don't think so.
Nah.
That was a cool Kickstarter.
It was a cool Kickstarter.
So, back to topic. I think in Japan, there's more of a culture, and Andrew, you'll have to correct me as our resident Japanese expert, or at least lover of anime girls. In Japan, there is more of a culture of social gaming where it's, it really is more appealing to people to have things where you can sort of interact with strangers through the gaming interface and everything like that, where in the US it's very much more of an isolationist gaming environment where even if you do interact with other people, it's always through the internet, so you don't have to leave your house to actually have that interaction. Where in Japan, it's like you're going to be running up against 1,000, 2,000 other people within 10 feet anyway, so might as well just have localized social gaming. How does that sound?
Yeah,
sounds perfect.
That sounds good. And you guys can chime in, but to piggyback off Will's point, and I mean the easy comparison could be like, well, Japanese people don't like shooting people and stealing cars, and I really don't think that's the case, because
I think Japanese people love shooting people and stealing cars.
I agree. But when you look at the top 3 games here on the list, Pokemon, Monster Hunter 4, and Animal Crossing, those are all games that you can play for several hours in a row. You can play for 15 minutes. You can play on a train. You can play on a bus. You can play while in class and not paying attention. But something like Grand Theft Auto is a very solo experience on your couch, not going out, not socializing, pretty much everything what Will said. And I think that kind of speaks for the culture here in the United States, where I think all of us in this podcast, we try to take our 3DSs everywhere, and we probably get pretty excited when we get like one street pass when we go to the mall. But a lot of other people who play video games in the United States, primarily like Xbox gamers or PlayStation 3 or 4 gamers, they want that solo experience of like, I'm just going to sit on my couch and play Call of Duty with people online. Like, yes, you're playing online, but these games, Pokemon X and Y, Monster Hunter, you play with not only online, but with people you know or strangers you meet, and that's not really the case for other games. Yes, Call of Duty, you play with strangers you meet, but you're not sitting across from them on like a train.
Oh yeah, where you can't think that it's somebody who's in the room with you.
Yes,
right.
Trains are not allowed in Call of Duty. Anyone who plays Call of Duty isn't even allowed to go on a train.
We'd probably be better off that way. Seeing as I think the appeal of the living room social gamer is that it's the mediated social environment, right? I can say and do anything I want because no one will ever know who I am, versus the somewhat mediated social environment that's offered by the 3DS, where you do have to sort of contain your actual actions a little more, because somebody on that train car could, figure out who you are and punch you. versus the non-mediated social environment of actually talking to other human beings and interacting. Ponder that and write an essay for next week.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm glad they just agree. They're like, yeah.
I think we get and
How much of my grade is it worth?
It's 43% of your grade.
That's a pretty specific number.
the other 20% is how good you can imitate me.
Because Steve is like the other 20%. Because grades are only made up of 63%.
The other, we haven't calculated out the other percentage here.
37% is class participation.
It's just showing up. The great thing about being in a Pokemon community is because we are stuck to the 3DS, so that's pretty much our primary device of playing these games. So I think a lot of us see this when we go to Pokemon events, and we see even just going to something like Nationals where you're like, everyone's wearing a Pokemon hat, and I'm not wearing a Pokemon hat. Oh god, I'm the odd one out here. Or you get, just little kids who don't understand how complicated battling is, and not having a person like Travis break it down for them, but how much they love.
When you say break it down, you mean like break it down, like drop a beat.
They're just passionate about having like a stuffed Jolteon in their hands or something like that. And you never get that kind of community with like a Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, you don't have like 5 people who love Grand Theft Auto 5 just like decked out in GTA hats, carrying like fake guns, being like, oh my god, I stole a car and then ran it into somebody's house. And then, I mean, you get those stories, but you don't get that like that fandom almost. That
Oh no, yeah, I showed up to Grand Theft Auto Virginia Regionals with a dead prostitute in my trunk.
You were decked out. But even Monster Hunter, they have a pretty strong community of people who dress up and cosplay, and they have Monster Hunter Academy out in California that they have like classes, like legit classes for it with Capcom Unity. Animal Crossing, Nintendo does meetups, and there's tons of cosplay for that and everything. And I think that's why these games are just so high in Japan. And when I go to like a Comic-Con or a C2E2 or a Gen Con to see those cosplayers and to see that passion, like that's why I also like these games a lot over something like a Grand Theft Auto 5.
So can we expect a Steve Sycamore cosplay?
Yes,
Yep.
a Steve Sycamore cosplay exclusively for Will.
I think with Steve's hairstyle, he would actually fit in quite well with a sycamore.
Yeah, and I can barely grow a beard like Sycamore.
But just as a public service announcement, there is one particular fandom where it is not appropriate and never acceptable to do cosplay, and that is Homestuck. Please refrain from any Homestuck cosplay. Thank you.
Oh man, that Homestuck, My Little Pony, and I would say probably Star Wars, between Star Wars and Star Trek. I will include them both. So those 4 were the most popular cosplays at Gen Con.
Seriously, Homestuck?
Oh, there were tons. They were like the goth people of Gen Con.
Oh, go.
That's basically half of Anime Expo was Homestuck.
Oh.
Did Anime Expo have a lot of My Little Pony or no?
Not at all. I didn't actually see any.
Cosplay My Little Pony?
You have like a group of.
You just wear a horse
people.
mask.
You just wear a horse mask. You buy wigs or just dress up in the color of whatever pony and then like paste the cutie mark on your butt. I think we're done with this topic.
Got nothing to say. Nothing to say.
This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are.
We can, since it's already downhill, we can move into what we didn't like about X and Y. That's the second part of this conversation. I don't know who wants to start.
I can start
Will can start.
I mean, I've already been vocal about my biggest disappointment being the Megastones. You can't trade them across systems and retain one copy for yourself. So, that and the fact that you can't collect all of the evolution items that you need to complete the Kalos Pokedex in game. Just that. Those are my standard big time complaints because it's for me. I guess the Battle Maison didn't turn out to be as hard as I thought it was going to be because Gudra worked out for me, and I actually, you just have to get to level 20. I guess 4 times, 5 times to in order to get enough battle points to buy the Razor Fang and the Razor Claw. But you think that
100 BP for completing 20, or is that super that they give you 100?
Yeah, you don't get 100, but
50.
You complete 20 and you get to battle the first of the what is their name? Chatelaine, yeah. And so I think she gives you 10 for just doing the basic. But either way, it wasn't that hard. And now that I've stopped trying to use Talonflame for super training, which if anybody is trying to defeat the secret super training levels using Talonflame, stop right now and switch to something else. I think the green ball is actually the easiest one, isn't explained anywhere, but the different Pokemon types shoot different types of balls in super training. Mm-hmm. So the green ball actually accrues you points fastest. It's a little harder to aim, but you get more points when you hit the goal. So definitely Blastoise and probably water types will get you there. And I've already started to accrue more evolution stones quickly because I switched away from Talonflame to Blastoise.
Yeah, Greninja worked the best for me for secret super training.
Well, I would never recommend using Greninja for anything because that's just a piece of crap Pokemon.
Get out of town, Will.
Dude has his tongue sticking out and wrapped around his neck. That is not a Pokemon, that's a deformity.
You can pet the tongue, though.
Ew!
He's awesome.
Oh, he's great. He's so cool with his floppy tongue sticking out his mouth.
Just don't know what you're missing.
Let's see, Greninja made it to competitive. Chestnut stayed where he is.
Who cares about
a starter?
Besides Travis.
Do you guys think it's weird that Chestnut merges its hands together for a shield?
Does it really?
Apparently Steve interrupted me, so I couldn't defend Greninja.
Nope.
That was the whole plan.
Even when I started Pokemon X, I selected Fennekin as my starter Pokemon. I'm going to have an all-fire team for Pokemon X. But those are my biggest complaints. It's the fact that it's kind of broken away from, if me and a friend have the 2 versions of Pokemon, both of us can get to completion and everything, that's no longer possible, and you have to have your own copy of both to have completion of everything. Next.
I actually sort of don't like that you get the Gen 1 starters. I like that, they have Megas and that sort of thing, but I sort of find it to be a little limiting in terms of what team you end up using, because you don't want to just, box it. That feels wrong. So 2 of your slots are filled up, and, everyone's going to have 2 starters on their team, and I feel like it limits the creativity of what team you end up with by the end of the game, at least for the single player experience.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah,
there.
I think my team was already full of what I wanted to use by the Fairy Gym, and I didn't really add anything else at all because I've seen everything that I wanted to use.
Yeah.
I guess in their defense, there's only, 69 new Pokemon. There's not 150.
There's more than 69 new Pokemon because that's inappropriate.
There's exactly 69 new Pokemon.
Exactly 69 new Pokemon.
Even with Hoopla?
No.
We're not counting them, I guess.
Yeah, because that would be 72.
That you are not wrong.
You can count.
I can math. 69 is an inappropriate number of Pokemon, so
I don't know what you're thinking about, Will.
This is the part of the episode where there's a flashback sound effect, and and it goes back to episode 69,
69,
where there's like 20 people in the episode, and everyone's like, get it? Because it's the episode number 69, and that's a thing.
I was not part of that episode.
That's still funny. Still funny. So, complaint was getting the starter preventing creativity.
Yeah.
I feel you. I'll skip Andrew here. He seems to have some size of, I don't know, size of disappointment.
Size of doubt.
What I didn't like in X and Y was actually the pacing with the gym leaders, and this is kind of a complaint for maybe all the Pokemon games, but I was really digging that when you get to the first gym, you're around level 10. Second gym, you're around like level 20, and then you're like, all right, third gym probably level 30, because that's where I was in the game. Like, I was at level 30 approaching the third gym, and they're like, no, you're still going to be about level 20. And you're like, okay, maybe just too close. And then it's like, all right, level 40 now approaching the fourth gym, and they're like, we're still level 29. And you're just like, I felt like you were way overpowered after the second gym.
Well, even and also
the
there's
XP share. It's better.
Yeah.
But also the super long break between the first and second gym. Wow.
Yeah, it was long, but in retrospect, I really liked that journey.
I feel like there's a lot of content in it. Like, I don't feel like it was slow in the sense of, like, I had to, like, slog through, like, annoying caves or something like that. Like, I think there might have been one cave in between. But I thought it was, like, in what was in between there was enjoyable. Like, going to the mansion, having your friend hit on you for a while, watching fireworks.
Yeah, and I think it was good that they put it so close to the beginning of the game, because really after Gym 7, I felt like that drag of like, okay, I just want to get this over with.
Okay, let me think of what I hate about this game, because I obviously have over 300 hours into this game.
So there has to be something like you don't like that, like every time you log in, you're just like, I wish this was a little different.
No, actually. I mean, this isn't my favorite generation at all. Like, but this isn't about generations. It's about the game specifically. Yeah, I guess that the number of new Pokemon was really disappointing, but it's easily overcome with the amount of Pokemon that they throw in that we've had before. But I was just really expecting a little bit more Pokemon, like at least 80. 69 is like the lowest number of Pokemon we've had, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon XD and Coliseum had more Pokemon than X and Y did. In terms of catchable ones, it is.
Got it.
I guess it's really nitpicky, but the critical hit ratio is a lot different in this game. It's more easy to get a critical hit from what I've seen.
Oh, I really like the new crit mechanics.
Not when you're doing those locks.
Oh, who does those?
Me.
But I like, because now critical hits do occur, I think, a little more often, maybe not, but it is 1.5 times damage as opposed to 2.
Yeah.
And, like, the one thing I don't like is that they also changed it so that, like, if you increase your rate, like, you at some way increase the ratio of your critical hit, whether by focus energy or scope lens or something, at the point where you've gotten to 3 increases to that, it's 100% critical hit ratio. So people always just bring in Kingdra, which has Sniper, which makes critical hits do more damage and uses focus energy and gives it a scope lens, so every move is a critical hit, and it just is kind of annoying. I don't like that, but I do like that critical hits don't do twice the amount of damage anymore. It's a little less infuriating.
Well, it's 50% less.
I mean, it's better than Gen 1's mechanic of critical hit ratio.
Based on speed.
Yep.
Go back.
Pidgeot.
Yeah, but I don't really have anything negative to say about the game. I liked a lot of it, but There was just small things here and there that kind of bugged me, like critical hits and how many Pokemon were in the game.
I was confused if Golbat or Crobat's the final, but Crobat's the final, which wasn't in Gen 1. Okay, I
No.
got it.
That's right. You have the Golbat.
I
Golbats.
need to correct myself or I'm going to get voluminous tweetage.
Yeah, Crobat requires friendship.
Sweet. I think that's all we got for that. So what we can do is we can take another quick break for you guys, and when we come back, we will talk about our Pokemon of the week, and we're going to do some shout-outs, because a lot of you left us reviews in iTunes, so we're going to shout you out. And it's somebody's birthday today, so we're going to give them a shout-out too, right after our break. And we are back once again from our break to talk to you about more Pokemans. The Pokemans. Before we begin, I was up late last night editing a almost year-old video. It was from the 2013 C2E2. It was me speaking in front of a room of about 200 people. 200 inspiring Pokemon trainers. But that is up on YouTube now. It is me walking around on stage, answering questions before X and Y had details. So it's a lot of like, what do you think the final starters are going to be? And what do you think of this new Mewtwo evolution thing, Jigger, that we saw? But I did go through and clean up the audio, clean up the video. All the questions have the little subtitles at the bottom because sometimes you can't hear the person asking the question. So it's all there. It's pretty funny, I think. I mean, it's me, so I think I'm funny because I look like an idiot on stage. So if you want to check that out, that's up on our YouTube page because we have a YouTube page now, and we just hit 100 subscribers. So thank you, everyone who subscribed to us on YouTube. But that is something cool to see, and I guess worth watching. I don't know. We'll find out. Other than that, we're going to actually just start off with some iTunes shout-outs here. So I said if you leave us a review in iTunes, we will give you a shout-out on air. I don't know where we left off last time. Last time we had like the Starmie one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find most recent.
That was a Starmie impression, I'm sorry.
I picked that up.
Yeah, so we got a
Since
couple.
Starmie's like the only Pokemon that doesn't go Starmie, Starmie, Starmie.
Oh, it goes whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
No, it goes. Actually, Andrew did the best impression.
Thank you.
This is where you. This is where you
Where you do it
reinsert
again.
the impression, dude.
It was like,
Yeah.
it's like some
Good job.
old Asian man.
Starmies
Coughing.
are Asian exclusive. So, first review is Best Pokemon Podcast for All the Listeners by Don the Cop. Just a bunch of hunks talking about Pokemans. Can you please talk about how bad Aurorus is and how awesome Malamar is?
Malamar is a marshmallow chocolate cookie, not a Pokemon.
What?
Yeah,
Isn't
I
it
know.
that squid thing?
Yeah, it is, but I mean, Andrew's right, and I also don't understand. Okay, I understand where they got Inkay from the pre-evolution, right?
Yeah.
But
Ink.
well, no, it's supposed to come from OK, like passive agreement to something. But then I don't know how that relates to Malamar. Somebody's gonna have to explain that to me.
Just a
Maybe
cookie.
they thought the squid was as delicious as a cookie.
Maybe it mal meaning like mal, the suffix meaning bad.
Real talk, Malamar is probably like my worst.
Bad cookie.
It's like the worst evolution ever to get.
Oh, it's so dumb. You have to battle with your 3DS held upside down. It's dumb.
Yep.
I thought you just have to turn it upside down after the battle.
At
No, it
what
has to
point?
be-
At what point, Steve?
You have to have it turned upside down before it hits 39. And if you don't have it upside down before it hits 39 in a battle, too bad.
You gotta wait the next level.
Yep. I waited until like 50. Because I kept doing it wrong.
A lot of people try to use Malamar because of Contrary, and they use Superpower or whatever. But I don't even think its stats are even stellar enough for it to really be able to pull it off, because it probably dies before it can do anything.
What's amazing is this isn't even the Pokemon of the week.
It's not.
It's not. Next one.
Oh, wait. The thing that he got the most wrong there was the hunks. What did he say? A couple of hunks?
A bunch of hunks.
Yeah, he ain't never met Travis.
Oh,
Whoa, just insults here.
He just, Travis just deflated.
Travis Fugly Wheeler.
Man.
Next one is Excellent by J. Lam. Been an avid Pokemon fan for as long as I can remember, and I absolutely enjoy this podcast. These guys know what they're talking about, and they listen to keep up to date on the latest Pokemon and their humor as well. We keep up to date on our humor.
This dude is also completely wrong, because obviously I know nothing about Pokemon.
Neither do I.
Really?
I don't either, and keep up to date with our humor is funny, since we're making, Beethoven jokes at the beginning of the show.
I update my humor, every 2 hours.
Yeah.
But sync
Force up.
it with iTunes.
Yep.
Next one is Super Infective Indeed by Virtual Age. What a great show we have here. If you like Pokemon, you should be listening to the show without a doubt. Always include a great panel of hosts and going over everything from news to story elements to competitive battling and sometimes vegetables. These guys get my vote for best Pokemon podcast out there. Keep up the great work.
I think that's a call for more vegetables.
I think so too.
I think everybody wants healthy living.
Harvest Moon Magical Melody was a great GameCube game. The achievement system was very intuitive, and I love the fact that
I've actually played this game for several hours.
It's really fun.
It's super good.
Okay, so I still haven't started playing Harvest Moon yet, but can you grow bok choy?
I don't think so.
Probably one of the games.
What you should do, Will, in all honesty, is... Oh, wait, no, never mind. They have Harvest Moon, the Super Nintendo version, which is one of the best versions, but that's on Wii U in the Virtual Console store.
They had Harvest Moon on Game Boy Color for eShop.
Is that good?
It's Game Boy Color Harvest Moon, so
take that as you will. I have the 3DS Harvest Moon. I just haven't put it into my 3DS.
I did think that one got good reviews.
Which one is it? Is it The Tale of Two Towns, or is it something else?
Oh, that would require me getting out of bed to actually look, so that's not going to happen.
We'll tackle it next week on Vegetable Cast.
Yes,
we just become a VeggieTales fan show.
Oh my god! If you want, I know somebody who knows the creator of VeggieTales. I can get them on the show.
Yeah, that would be it. That would be the spot that'll blow us up. VeggieTales creator. Next review is Worth All the Hoopla by Mulma A. Fox. Comment is, SBJ needs to be an authority on Pokemon pronunciations. Love the podcast. You guys have got me through a lot. Not necessarily tough. I've just listened to you guys for a long time. Keep up the work.
And on pronunciation. Isn't it pronunciation?
Yeah, most likely.
I do find that a lot of the feedback we get is from people who are like, I work in a factory doing very repetitive labor, so I listen to Pokemon podcasts to get me through the day. And I was like, is that really the community that we're serving?
Hard labor of the United States.
I tend to listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm moving stuff around. And it's just
Do you move a lot of things around?
I guess furniture.
Really
if you would.
I
guess cleaning up would be a better term.
I'm the same way as Andrew, cleaning. I listen to a lot of podcasts on cleaning and when driving, because when I'm driving, it keeps you more awake than just a song, because your brain's more active.
Mentally,
especially you can play Pokemon while listening to podcasts, and that's pretty cool. That's what I do a lot.
Yeah, I can't listen. It's hard to listen to podcasts while I'm actually doing work, because I'm just my workflow slows down so I can focus more on the conversation. So that's when I normally listen to music. Anyways, last review is Shorts Are Super Comfy by I Love Pop-Up Lights. Found this show right before one of my road trips, and it pretty much saved me from falling asleep at the wheel. Hey, see, we just said this.
We saved a life.
Podcast saves lives.
And dying in a grisly inferno of twisted steel and plastic. Now I play it on my commute to work and makes my days seem a little less terrible. Good banter and even better info. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Pop-Up Lights.
I'm really confused because I would say our banter is somewhat mediocre and the info is really worse.
But more power to you.
I guess if the people like it.
So if you would like us to read your review and give you a shout out, just leave us a review in iTunes. Then we'll do it.
I will leave 50.
I will make 50 iTunes.
And the 43rd shout out to Andrew.
Is just blah.
It's just a link to an anime girl.
Another quick shout out to one of our reoccurring guests, which was Jay. It is Jay's birthday today, so happy birthday, Jay. You were supposed to be on, but you woke up late.
The biggest salsa ever.
The biggest extreme.
The most extreme salsa ever. I just would like to know from Jay if I will ever get to find out the end of Shattered Gemstones.
Yeah, that is a good.
I don't think he wants to talk about that.
Oh no! It'll never end. It's like the mystery of Edwin Drood.
It's like Days of Our Lives. It just never ends. Moving on to our Pokemon of the week.
Oh yeah, huh?
This was actually somebody on Twitter was like, you guys should talk about Weavile, and I was like, well, we'll make Weavile Pokemon of the week, so that's what it is.
So now we have to talk about it.
Wee.
I don't think we've covered Weavile. There's a lot of Pokemon we haven't covered, obviously, since we're only at like 130 shows, and there's 600 and some 700 and some Pokemon.
And Travis probably repeated one.
Most likely.
Look, it's not my job to be going back in every episode and figuring out when they talked about Ampharos.
We talked about Ampharos twice?
Did we?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we talked about Azumarill like 5 times. So
really?
Yeah, because I'm like, oh god, not this crappy Pokemon again. Somebody should go on Bulbapedia.
Azumarill is very good this generation. Excuse me.
Oh my god, so I'm so sick of hearing this. He's like, she's so great, so very blah blah. Here we go, just like down the Azumarill hole again.
Brought it up, Will.
You
brought it up.
You brought it up, and now I'm gonna attack.
So it's just my plea for somebody
Andrew's
to go on
playing
Bulbapedia and like enhance its super effective page on Bulbapedia and just put in every Pokemon of the week that's been featured in every episode.
If somebody did that, that would be really cool. If anyone wants to update our Bulbapedia page or make it better, greatly appreciated. And if they need answers or questions, you can just tweet at me on Twitter. I will answer those questions so our Bulbapedia page can get better.
Just don't fill the whole section with just the word poop.
That sums up our show in one word, really.
Just Control A, delete.
Poop.
So Weavile, who is a weasel-like Pokemon, is just a dark and ice type. The only dark and ice type, I believe. I could be completely wrong.
No, he is Sneasel.
Sneasel's dark ice too.
Sneasel doesn't count. They're the same evolutionary line.
Okay, fine. They do count as 2 separate Pokemon.
They're one, Will. What do we have here on Weavile? He was in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. He comes out of a Pokeball and does false swipe on an opponent.
He goes,
Weavile. That was actually Super Smash Bros. Brawl was the first time I saw Weavile.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he debuted in Platinum and
Diamond and Pearl? But I guess I never saw it in Diamond and Pearl until Brawl.
Because he was one of the added evolutions, sort of like Electivire, Magmortar, that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Weavile was introduced in Gen 2 or 3. Or, sorry, Sneasel, I mean.
Sneasel,
Gen 2.
Yeah, he was one of the original Dark.
And then you give it let's see if I can do this, you give it a something claw.
Dude, I was
Razor
just
Claw.
complaining about this 15 minutes ago. Razor Claw.
Give it the Razor Claw.
Trade it. And he evolves from Sneasel when leveled up at night.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
That's why he's not evolving during the day.
He
Evolves at night. He has to hold a razor claw with high friendship, full stomach of Pokepuffs, and lots of tickles in Pokemon Me. And you have to hold the 3DS sideways while shaking it and dancing to one of the tunes that you create in the next version of Pokemon.
Pokemon Plus and Minus.
And then you have to jump. And then you have to do an Olympic swim while making a trainer PR video.
Yes, and you have to wink at the 3DS so that the camera can capture you winking just as it starts to evolve.
Or it won't capture your face at all and just disappoint your Pokemon.
Have you seen all the screen caps people have taken of the like legendaries that you can only get from Pokébank at this point, and it says like make a big smile, and it's like Huron Black, and it's like
I saw the Kyogre one, and that's terrifying.
Are these memes that you aren't sharing with me?
Would you call that a meme?
Yeah,
it's just like a picture of Kyogre smiling, trying to smile.
It's teeth.
Weavile appeared in Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Somebody named Kidd, Kidd, owns 2 Weaviles. Weavile. Weavile also made an appearance in the Duels of the Jungle, where 2 more Weavile are fighting over who would rule a group of Weavile and Sneevile. Sneevile. That's for the TV show. There's not much actually about Weavile. I mean, they have the standard what Weavile looks like, but nothing more than that.
It's shiny spiders pink.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And it's 4 times weak to fighting, which, fighting type moves are really common in the game, so very easy to knock out.
Not with that Focus Sash.
I only have my Pokemon hold plates.
How much does that even boost? I forgot. Is it like...
It's 10%.
10%?
Yeah.
Or 20%. 20% rather. 10% is like the whatever band and whatever lens. Not choice, the other one. Wise glasses or whatever.
Mm.
I love some of the trivia sometimes in Bulbapedia. This one is, Weavile weighs as much as Dawn. It shares this similarity with Porygon Z.
Thanks, Bulbapedia.
Spot on trivia.
That's the only thing I miss from Tumblr is thanks Bulbapedia.
Weavile has the highest base stat of any Ice-type Pokemon, and it is tied for the fastest Dark-type Pokemon with Darkrai.
It's Darkrai.
Do y'all want some moveset ideas for Weavile?
We would love moveset ideas for Weavile.
I'm thinking you can either do, like Andrew said, Focus Sash would be an idea. In that case, probably like knock off Ice Shard. Like
it's all you need.
That's all you need. You're done.
Low kick, and then maybe
Hone Claws.
It probably could.
Ice Punch.
Pursuit. It can get Pursuit or Ice Punch. Yeah, that's good too. Or alternatively, you can do a very similar set and do Life Orb. But I think with Life Orb, it can actually take out things like Tyranitar and Heatran with 1 low kick. So that's cool. Assuming it doesn't have like a Chople Berry.
Have you guys heard of Freeze Dry?
Yes.
What? This move is sweet.
Yeah, it's a new move. It basically turns them into water type.
It's an ice type move. It's an ice type move that's super effective against water.
It has a 10% chance of freezing.
Mm-hmm.
And it does 70 damage and 100% accuracy.
Apparently, but you know the worst thing about Freeze Dry for Weavile? The only way it can learn it. No, the only way that it can learn it is if its dad is
Delibird.
Delibird.
Daddy Delibird.
Daddy Bird.
Daddy Bird.
Dad.
Daddy
Thanks,
Bird.
Dad, for the Freeze Dry.
Need some Freeze Dry up in here.
What if your dad was Santa Claus?
A.K.A. Delibird.
You know, Santa Claus's children receive no presents. They can only give.
Would you be willing to teach Weavile Icicle Crash since it can learn that from Beartic, or no?
Does it do recoil?
No.
Then yes, that's better than Ice Punch.
80% chance to hit and an
90% chance to hit.
90% chance to hit and 80 power.
85 power with a 30% chance to flinch.
Flinch.
Maybe better than Ice Punch. The accuracy kind of scares me.
Yeah, 90. It's like Fly being 95% accurate.
It's, I guess, how risky you play. You run Icicle Crash.
Get that stab. Is Weavile still used competitively? I feel like he was used a little bit in Gen 5.
Not as much as in, like, Gen 4 and 5, but he's still around. I mean, with the knockoff increase and that sort of thing, a little bit, but it's a little more unlikely to see him given, like, things like Aegislash. I mean, he gets Dark type, but I mean, Aegislash can just take it out with one Iron Head, so. He is nice because a lot of, at least from my perspective, it seems like the game has slowed down a lot. A lot of the Pokemon that are used are a lot slower. There are a lot more priority users, things like Aegislash, Diggersby, Azumarill, but for the majority, the Pokemon that get used are slower, like Rotom, which has always been used, but even a lot more this generation. And like Mega Garchomp as opposed to Scarf Garchomp, that sort of thing. So that's sort of his niche, is that he's super fast.
So can you knock off a Megastone from a Pokemon?
No.
That'd be amazing.
That would be super cool.
Mm-hmm.
But you can knock off like their Quick Claw.
You could. Or their Choice Scarf, or their Leftovers, or their Citrus Berry.
Knockoff never seems to work for me for some reason. Knockoff, Snatch, stuff like that.
Maybe you're just doing it wrong.
I don't know. How does Snatch even work? Is that like...
I feel like you can't be held... You can't have a held item already.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing with Thief. And I can pull off Thief, but not Snatch. Isn't that the same thing? It just doesn't do any damage? Because they have to attack you.
Oh...
It's like they attack you, and
then you take their held item. Yeah.
Which is... I have Snatch up right now. Snatch is a non-damaging Dark-type move introduced in Gen 3. It is blah, blah, blah. Snatch is an increased priority move, priority +4. The effect of the first status move used by any other Pokemon on the same turn will be applied to the user of Snatch instead of to the other Pokemon.
Oh, so it doesn't have anything to do with...
Items.
Yeah. Oh, so that's more of a double or triple battle thing, sounds like.
Steals so the effects of the move the foe uses next.
Oh, I see.
So in X and Y, the user steals the effects of any attempt to use a healing or stat-changing move.
Oh, so like if you did Dragon Dance or something, you could snatch a Dragon Dance away from like a Gyarados.
That's pretty cool.
But you can get a Weavile with the Pickpocket hidden ability, which is basically the same as Knockoff, except that instead of you being proactive, if somebody hits you with a attacking move, then you take their item. You get their item is removed.
You cannot snatch a Protect, and you cannot snatch a Snatch.
I can snatch. Don't you tell me what I can and cannot do.
There we go. I think that's all we got for you guys today. You can't snatch a Snatch.
You can low kick a low kick.
Boom. That's right. Andrew, where can they find you?
Where can you find me? You can follow me on my main account on Twitter, which is @Venoshock. Hopefully I don't change it anytime soon. Because I've been tempted many times, but then I'm like, oh crap, wait, I said my name was Venoshock on Pokemon Podcast.
You're famous.
They're just going to direct me to a...
You should make another... If you change it, you make another account called Venoshock, and the bio is just, sorry, I changed to @ILikeSocks.
I like socks. Yay.
And then actually, since the last episode that I was on, I talked about Battle Arcade on the last time. And our first part of our episode actually went up, and that was covering type matchups. So if you're interested in learning very basic stuff about Pokemon, Battle Arcade's Twitter is @BattleArcade, and just follow the links from in that description right there, because I'm far too lazy to talk about the YouTube channel and link that properly.
So Andrew, I did hear that Battle Arcade is a video type production as opposed to one of those really boring audio only type podcasts.
Yep.
Cool.
We're working on part 2 of that episode right now, so hang tight. It's just us being lazy with writing. Lines are no problem to record.
You actually write ahead of time?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's actually like very hard to figure out reasons why moves are super effective on things. Like, you tell me why bugs are super effective on grass, or why doesn't electric...
Bugs eat grass!
Okay, then why is grass super effective on water?
Because
don't tell me it absorbs it.
It does.
The roots absorbs the water and it grows.
And then why is water not very effective on grass?
Because it gets sucked up.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I water my grass. The grass grows better. It doesn't start to wilt.
You don't have grass.
What do you mean? I have plenty of grass. You don't have grass.
I've got class.
But yeah, basically, that's it. Yeah.
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 Travis?
Twitter.com/TheTravisW.
And @TravisW.
My bot is @TravisW, which just tweets out the same, 260 tweets once an hour.
My bot is very
not
foul.
260
Not follow it. My bot, you could probably get to it by looking at Travis's bot.
I like when Jay's bot tweets at my bot, and they just go back and forth.
Oh.
Amazing. Will, where can they find you?
Well, I certainly don't have a bot, but
I'll make one.
No, on Twitter. Twitter, you can follow me at WashInTheSink, and I think I'm going to be a little more active on there because we got that request from the guy in Alaska who wants me to, say things like on the podcast, which I can't do, but I can do that in Twitter. So he can.
You should use Venusaur instead of Bulbasaur for that, because those are heavy words.
Heavy words.
So the less family friendly is Twitter. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. You guys can follow the podcast on Twitter. It's @Pokemon Podcast. We just hit 17,000 followers a couple days ago. You can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PKMNcast. And you can do the Google Plus thing as well, and the YouTube thing as well. They're all, Google Plus and YouTube is like the same thing nowadays. Other than that, leave us a review in iTunes and you get a shout out. You can listen to us on Stitcher Radio. And finally, it is Shorty Awards season again. And there's a little bit of rule changes this year to the Shorty Awards. Instead of taking the top 6, they're taking the top 4. And they are not focusing on community categories as much this year as they did in years past. So if you do want to vote for the podcast, it's just shortyawards.com/Pokemon Podcast. We are winning that by a landslide because no one's really participating like they did in previous years. But we've won it for the last 3 years, so we might as well go for a 4th year. Pokemon Podcast is trying to win the podcast category, #podcast. And then finally, you can follow me on Twitter. It's @DraggingALake. And same thing as last year, I am running in the podcaster category. I felt like I said that funny, podcaster. Podcaster, which is shortyawards.com/DraggingALake. I've been in first for the whole week. That probably won't last much longer. But if you want to vote for me, that would be awesome. We give you hours of entertainment, and we're just asking for a tweet So you can either go to draggingalake.com or
Draggingawake.com.
don't go there. That domain doesn't exist. Go to shortyawards.com/draggingalake and you can vote there, or you can simply tweet I nominate at Dragging a Lake for a Shorty Award in Podcaster, #Podcaster, because insert reason, and then just make up anything, and then you vote. It counts. Then you're done. It's as simple as that.
Oops, Google Chrome could not find dragonalec.com.
I told you it doesn't exist. I used to own that domain, though, at one point in my life.
Hey, Steve,
Yes.
you know that Froakie plushie you bought me?
Yes.
Well, what I'm doing right now is I'm bending its eyes sideways so that instead of like sticking out from its head, it's like it looks like they don't really stick out at all, except they're just completely sideways. So he looks like really mad.
Steve never bought me a stuffed animal.
That's right. I bought Travis and Carly little Christmas presents.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Thanks, Steve.
None of you guys else got something. There we go. Shorty Awards. This is where I say thank you, Travis.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Will.
Whatever.
Thank you, Andrew.
Good morning.
This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
Super effective.
Will, what are you doing?
Did we save the dinosaurs?
We saved the dinosaurs. We did it. Oh, that's